This podcast is brought to you by Varietea.
According to an article by the Malaysian Reserve, 17,000 tons of food waste were recorded on a daily basis. So, how do we save food? Hello lovely listeners, welcome to Variety, where we share interesting insights of various topics related to our Sustainable Development Goals theme. I'm Nurul and this is a sharing on Waste Zero Food Hero. Food waste is related closely in our daily lives. However, it is not given the appropriate spotlight. Recently, this issue has come to attention which it affects socially and environmentally. So how do we save food? It is important to bear in mind that how an initiative started within our own self could contribute to a nation's initiative. So today, let's figure out alternative ways to kickstart our own initiative to reduce this food waste. According to Encyclopedia Online, food waste is defined as discarding of potentially usable food. Or we could simply say that the food that are being thrown away, even though it is still good to be consumed, is considered as food waste. Recently, there's a research on food waste in Malaysia, which found that more than 50% Malaysians waste food daily. Many Malaysians also tend to discard their food to normal bins rather than composting them. Not just that, the frequent eating out behaviours are also increasing the food wastage. Being as Malaysians, we are always invited to food banquets such as weddings, or commercial banquets such as hotel buffets, or even family gatherings, which results to a more increase in food waste. However, the awareness on food wastage among Malaysians are still high, which they feel guilty and they also know the environmental impacts from this food wastage. Since this issue has been highlighted recently, many NGOs and also not-for-profit organizations has paid their attention in order to reduce the food waste. One of it is Safe Environment, Save Ourselves, or better known as SESO. SESO's main goal is to fight against food waste and food poverty. They have been serving communal meals regularly to the ones who need it. They work with local businesses and create awareness by launching initiatives such as offering food at special prices to those who need it. Not just that, they also use existing resources such as they collect surplus from supermarkets, hypermarkets and restaurants and they turn it into nutritious meal before distributing them to the ones who need it. Among their beneficiaries were PJ Caring Home, Yayasan Nur Manzil, Trinity Children's Home and Rumah Hope. Another not-for-profit organisation that has been doing really well in combating this issue is the Lost Food Project. This organisation had aimed for a sustainable future by rescuing lost food and finding it a new home for people who need it. They have been doing initiatives such as donating and receiving food donations. Among their corporate donors are Nestle, Village Grocer, Pasar Borong Kuala Lumpur, Giant and many more. They had also launched a special PPR program in Gombak and Lembah Pantai where the volunteers secured surplus fruit from their donors and they turned it into meals for PPR residents in need. Now, let's move to the main question. How do we save food? Or maybe we could call ourselves food hero if we learn how to reduce this food waste. Firstly, it is important to buy only what you need. This can be done when you make a shopping list before you go for your grocery shopping. This is to avoid impulse buying and not to mention, it also saves your money. Secondly, after the grocery buying, you should store your food wisely. It is important to follow the storage instructions so the food could last longer. Apart from that, you could also use the suitable containers in order to store your food. Thirdly, we ourselves could be a leftover lover. Leftovers are common in our own households. Hence, if there are leftovers, keep it. Later, these leftovers can be altered or reheated for our next meal. Not just that, another way is to turn the fruit waste to nutrition. How? Composting food waste could give nutrients to soil, hence it also reduces the carbon footprints. This could save the environment at least for the use of the future generations. Not just that, we could also understand the label on each food packaging so that we could reduce the food waste. Please bear in mind that best before and consume by is two different terms. Some best before is actually still good to be consumed even after the best before date. However, if it's written consumed by, it means that you have to consume the food by the date set. So what do we get from reducing food waste? Let me tell you. Firstly, it reduces a lot of costs. Why? This is because the process to discard all this food waste requires manpower, energy, resources, land, and etc. All this would need a huge cost. Not just that, personally, within our own household, the reduce of food waste means that we could save costs on our spendings on food. Secondly, composting this food waste would be an effective and simple solution that benefits not only humans but also the plants. Thirdly, reducing food waste could also reduce the size of landfills. Not just that, reducing food waste could also help the needed. This is because when we distribute our food waste or surplus towards the needy ones, it means that we are helping them to get access to a better food. Do remember that not everyone has the privilege to get good food every day. Lastly, the reducing of food waste could also reduce the environmental effect for a long term. What are the consequences if you don't reduce this food waste? Firstly, it produces environmental effect. Why? Because food waste produce methane gas that could lead to greenhouse effect, and it also leads to climate change. Of course, we don't want our daily lives to be more hotter, right? Not just that, food wasting is also against some religion practices. This is because food are considered blessings. Hence, for example, in Islam, wasting food are actually against the religion practice. Apart from that, wasting food also means wasting resources because food comes from various resources such as livestock and plants. These livestock and plants run through a whole lot of process that takes time before it is being processed as a food. Hence, if we waste food, it means that we have wasted the time of these resources to be developed or processed into being our own food. Lastly, there are also sayings that if we waste food, it is like disrespecting those who are unable to get enough food. Like I mentioned previously, it is important to remember that not everyone has the privilege to access to good and nutritious food daily in their daily lives. In conclusion, we could be our own hero by reducing our own food waste. I hope from this episode you had understand the food waste, the ways to start off reducing food waste, and also the benefits of it. There is a quote saying that cutting food waste is a delicious way of saving money, helping to feed the world, and also to protect the planet. Again, I would like to remind to our lovely listeners that we could become our own food hero by reducing this food waste and starting our own initiative in order to contribute to the nation's initiative. Thank you so much for the listeners who tuned in. Don't forget to keep following the Variety podcast for other interesting topics. Have a good day. Bye-bye.